One of the most difficult tasks is changing people. It is difficult to change people's behavior, people's beliefs, people's ideology and attitude. As a parent at home, a teacher at school, a leader in society, or religious leaders, your major duty is to change people. In this video, we are going to see the simplest and most effective way of changing people. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe, click on the bell, like and share. Let us begin with this common story that I hope you have ever heard of. There was this gentleman who rarely went to church. He one day decided to seek the Lord's help due to unknown troubles. On one easy Sunday, dressed in a humble way, he hurried to a nearby church. When he reached and entered the church, he found an eloquent preacher at the pulpit giving a very touching sermon to the attentive and quiet congregation. The silence was almost tangible, that one could even hear the slightest sound of a creeping cockroach. Since the troubled man was late in church, he practically stumbled over other worshippers, stepping on their shoes as he tried to get a seat. His clumsiness momentarily broke the solid silence in the church, earning him sharp, disapproving stares from the other worshippers. The preacher himself, for a moment, lost track of his words and gave the newcomer a penetrating look. When the newcomer finally got a seat, he gave a deep sigh of relief as he started feeling the calmness of the house of God. The preacher resumed his sermon, the congregation was quiet again, and everyone was settled listening to the eloquent preacher. But this calmness did not take long. Just as the troubled man had started listening to the preacher, his cell phone, without warning, gave a loud, deafening ring. Oh my! He almost jumped out of his skin. With embarrassment and disbelief, he was now sweating like a fish. He wished the earth could even open and swallow him to save him from that embarrassing moment. He fumbled with his phone to switch off but failed 2 times and dropped it down, making even a louder noise. This made him fumble more and even sweat more like a dying shark. That moment, to the troubled man, was a trying moment. To the congregation, it was another drunkard in church. And to the pastor, it was a disrupting moment. The preacher then signaled to the troubled man to leave church. The man walked out in total shame and regret. That moment was the most embarrassing and worst moment in his 30 years of existence. He walked out of church and walked on like a stray boat in the middle of a stormy ocean. Unknowingly, he found himself at the bar. He did not exactly know why he had gone there. Was it to run away from his troubles, get comfort away from the church, or get drunk and forget everything he had gone through that morning? When he reached the bar, a fat, crooked-nosed bartender called him by name. "Hello, brother. How are you, Johnny?" He came over to him and gave him a welcoming hug. He showed him to a seat and comforted him. As he talked to him, the man felt at home. The bartender called over the girls to serve the troubled man. Since he was still shaky from the incidents in the church, he accidentally knocked over his glass of wine, wetting the table and his clothes. He was about to get into another fit of scare when the barman came over again and helped him out. He cleaned the table, he gave him a towel to dry himself, and offered him another free drink. In consolation, he sat by him and comforted him again. The troubled man, with discomfort, did not leave the bar that whole day. From this simple story, we see that what drove the troubled man away from the believers was lack of emotional connection and comfort. He felt distant and as a stranger in the house of God and near the believers. Then the troubled man stayed at the bar that whole day just because he felt at home. He felt he belonged there. He felt a mutual connection with the people at the bar. The moral lesson: it is better to connect to people before we correct them. As a parent at home, do you rush to correct your children's mistakes before listening to them? Do you rebuke them for not doing what is expected without giving them chance to explain? You will send them far from your reach. It would be better to first draw them to you. Create a friendly bond with your children. Become their best friend. Then help them to correct their mistakes. Remember to always connect to your children before you correct them. As a couple, you don't need to criticize your partner every time they are wrong. Criticism puts people down. It is better to always talk about the positives first, then help your partner understand how you feel about their negatives. When we talk to our partners, let us use the I, we opening phrases. This helps to open up for discussion. Take an example. You think your partner is indecent in a short dress. You may say, "Honey, I think you will look better if you put on a longer dress." You think your partner is quarrelsome. You may say, "We don't need to quarrel over small matters all the time. Please avoid the accusing statements beginning with you." These point directly to the negatives of your partner. Take an example. You look indecent in that short dress. You are so quarrelsome, my dear. Remember to always connect to our partners before we correct them. We said that changing people's behavior, changing their beliefs, changing their ideology, and changing people's likes and dislikes is the most difficult responsibility you have as a parent, as a teacher, as a religious leader, or as a mentor. You need to know that people are what they are because of their past experiences. In order to change them, you need to give them new experiences and expectations with hope. Then here you will connect to them before you correct them. You also need to know that changing people needs time. As a change agent, you need to be very patient. Be sympathetic, be empathetic, be exemplary, be a role model. Gain people's trust before you change them. Do not forget to always connect to people before you correct them. Thank you for watching our channel. Please don't forget to subscribe.